If you've been scrolling through endless AV receiver specs, comparing tower speakers, and still can't picture how everything would actually work in your living room, this review is going to clear that up. I know the feeling of staring at a wall of numbers: 8K pass-through, 4K per 120 Hz, a 5.2 channel amp, while wondering if any of that will actually make movie night feel different. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, and I'm going to walk through what matters once you pull the box out of the shipping crate. First off, let's talk about the core of the bundle, the Denon AVR S670H receiver paired with two Polk audio monitor XT60 towers. Denon positions this model as a premium cinematic experience for homes that already own an 8K TV or plan to upgrade soon. The receiver indeed supports 8K per 60 Hz and 4K per 120 Hz pass-through, meaning the picture side of things won't be bottlenecked. That matters if you have a next-gen TV and want every pixel to stay crisp while you route the signal through your AV rack. For most families still on 4K, the extra bandwidth is essentially future-proofing. You won't notice any difference today, but you won't have to replace the receiver when you finally get an 8K set. What really separates this bundle from just another receiver plus speakers combo is the way the Polk XT60s complement Denon's processing. The XT60s have a 1-inch tweeter and a 6-inch mid-bass driver, tuned for higher audio. In practice, that translates into a clear, extended treble that lets you hear the subtle rustle of leaves in a nature documentary without the sound becoming harsh. The larger woofer handles low-end punch, so when you fire up a bass-heavy action film, the explosions feel solid rather than just a thump. I tested the pair with a streaming service that offers Dolby Atmos tracks, and while the receiver is only a 5.2 channel unit, so it can't render true overhead effects, the surround channels still delivered a convincing sense of space. In a typical 12-foot by 15-foot living room, the front speakers filled the room with a wide soundstage, and the rear speakers added a subtle, enveloping ambience that made dialogue clearer than my old soundbar ever did. Now, who should actually consider buying this bundle? If you're a movie enthusiast who already owns or is planning an 8K TV, the Denon's eARC/ARC support ensures your TV can send high-resolution audio back to the receiver without extra cables. That same eARC link also lets you use the TV's built-in apps, Netflix, Disney+, etc., and still get the benefit of Denon's decoding for Dolby Digital and DTS, which most soundbars can't handle as cleanly. The bundle also makes sense for gamers who want the low-latency, high-bandwidth HDMI path that lets a 4K per 120 Hz signal stay uncompressed while still enjoying a richer soundtrack than a typical TV speaker system. If, on the other hand, you're living in a small studio apartment, have a modest 32-inch TV, or you're on a tight budget, you'll likely be better off with a soundbar that includes a wireless sub. The XT60 towers are about 42 inches tall and need a decent amount of floor space. Trying to wedge them into a cramped layout can lead to a cramped soundstage rather than the spacious feel they're designed for. Also, the receiver's 5.2 channel configuration means you'll be limited to 2 surround speakers, no true rear height channels, no Dolby Atmos modules. If you're chasing that full immersive Atmos setup, you'd need to add extra speakers and a more powerful AVR, which pushes the total cost well beyond the bundle's price point. Let's dig into the practical strengths that become evident after a few weeks of use. The first thing I noticed was the seamless HDMI ARC/eARC handoff. I connected my Samsung 8K QLED TV, ran a single HDMI cable to the Denon, and the TV's internal tuner displayed the same picture quality while the audio automatically switched to the receiver when I launched a movie. No extra configuration, no audio delay settings to fiddle with. That ease of use is a hidden trade-off that many reviewers miss. You get a clean, single-cable solution that works consistently, which saves you from the tangle of multiple audio outputs and the occasional lip-sync headaches. Another strength is the Denon's built-in room calibration feature, Odyssey Multiple EQ. After running the supplied microphone through the setup process, the receiver measured the acoustic response of my room, especially the low-frequency bounce off my hardwood floor, and applied subtle EQ tweaks. The result was a more balanced bass response. The explosions didn't overshoot, and the dialogue stayed intelligible even during the most chaotic scenes. The calibration takes about 10 minutes, but once it's done you can forget about it. For people who are intimidated by tone control knobs, this automatic adjustment is a practical time saver. On the downside, there are a couple of real-world quirks. First, the Denon's user interface on the front panel is a bit dated. The on-screen menu uses a small font and a lot of nested submenus, which can feel clunky if you're used to modern touchscreen receivers. You'll spend a few minutes learning where